Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're talking about something huge, something that affects pretty much every part of our lives, but somehow most schools just don't teach it. We're talking about money, and we're going to break down 10 powerful lessons that can help anyone build a smarter financial future. And you kind of have to wonder, right? Why is that? For most of us, what we learn about money, we learn from our parents. And those lessons, whether they're good or bad, can literally set the course for our entire financial lives. All right, so let's get right into it. Part one is all about your money mindset. This is the absolute foundation, because how you think about money, well, that changes everything. Okay, first big idea here. You have to believe that money is important. Seriously, it's not some evil thing. It's a tool. It's a tool that gives you options, that gives you freedom, and lets you build the life you really want. If you don't think it's important, you're never going to make it a priority, right? And that leads to this huge mental shift. You've got to move from what's called a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. So instead of thinking, oh, there's just not enough to go around, you start thinking, hey, there's always more money to be made. It completely flips the script from just focusing on pinching pennies to focusing on growing your income. And this next idea is something you hear from people like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. It's a simple but really powerful concept that you have to find your own way. Nobody owes you anything. Real, lasting wealth, it comes from being independent, from working hard, and from creating real value out there in the world. All right, so once you've got the right mindset locked in, it's time to learn the rules of the game. This next part is all about understanding the massive difference between the stuff that makes you wealthy and the stuff that, well, keeps you stuck. First up, you have to know what an asset is. The definition is super simple. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. I love this analogy. Think of it like an apple tree. You plant it once and it just keeps giving you apples, which is like income, year after year, even when you're not actively working on it. And then you've got the exact opposite, a liability. This is anything that takes money out of your pocket. Like that brand new phone that's already worth less the moment you open the box? It costs you money, but it's not making you any. So this brings us to a really, really big rule of the game. You want to buy assets, not liabilities. The secret to financial freedom is right there. Here's how the wealthy think about it. They don't just go get a car with a $500 monthly payment. No, they first buy an asset that makes them $500 a month, and then they let the asset pay for the car. Total game changer. So let's actually see how this plays out in the real world, because it's fascinating, right? You can have two people, same job, same exact salary, but they end up in completely different financial worlds. And it all boils down to their habits. So let's imagine this. Two people, and they each bring in $6,000 a month. Now, person one, they spend it all on stuff to look rich. The new car, the fancy dinners, all the latest gadgets. They're just racking up debt. But person two, they decide to live on half, just $3,000, and they take that other $3,000 and they invest it. Now, check this out. After just one single year, the difference is insane. Person one is at zero, maybe even in the negative with their debt. But person two, they now have $36,000 invested and working for them. That money is now an asset, making them even more money. And this is exactly what Robert Kiyosaki means when he says looking good but going nowhere. It's the classic rat race. So the big lesson here is to focus on actually being wealthy, not just looking wealthy. The real strategy is to live below your means while your assets grow, not the other way around. Okay, this brings us to our final section, building smart money habits. Because, look, knowing all these rules is great, but it's what you do every single day that really builds wealth in the long run. And it all comes down to a few key things. You've got to practice patience, playing the long game. You need to build good daily routines. And this is a big one. Understand that you get paid to help other people. The bigger the problem you solve, the more you can earn. It's also about developing your social skills, your ability to influence, and, of course, to always, always keep learning. I love this quote from Gary Vaynerchuk, have micro speed and macro patience. What does that even mean? It means you work your tail off every single day. That's the micro speed. But you also have the macro patience to let all that hard work compound and grow over years, even decades. And that brings us to maybe the most important lesson of all. Financial literacy is a journey, not a destination. You have to be a lifelong learner. The most successful people on the planet, they're the first to admit they don't have all the answers. They're always looking for mentors, always reading, always learning new things, because they know that the best investment you can ever make is in yourself. So when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway? It's that building a smarter financial future isn't about some secret formula or one lucky break. It's about small, smart habits repeated over and over again. And the best part? It's never too early or too late to start. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. What's one small, smart money habit you can start today?